Hey everybody, Genesis and Ryan here, Jameson and Staggs. We're just checking in. Today we have 3 items on the agenda to share and discuss with you. What did you think about that tax time segment? I hope it was fun to watch. It took us about 3 hours or so to get it assembled. Moving on. Number 1, on the email that contains this video, there's a few attachments. First attachment is the final closing disclosure. Formerly, this was known as the HUD statement. This will be useful during the upcoming tax season because your CPA or your tax preparer, or you, if you're doing your own taxes, will likely need to refer to this document to identify the amount that you may be able to use as a deduction. Number 2, the topic of most of the headlines lately, the new tax code. From what we've learned, and as of the time of this recording, there's essentially 3 parts that can, may, and do affect your income taxes. Number 1, the mortgage interest rate deduction. In the past, the mortgage interest rate deduction was available on mortgages up to $1 million. That's been reduced now to $750,000. Next is the state and local taxes, otherwise known as SALT. If you do itemize, there's now a cap on the amount of state and local taxes that you can deduct from your federal income tax return. In Nevada, we don't have a state income tax, so this nearly exclusively applies to property taxes. Under the new tax code, you're capped at a $10,000 deduction. Next, and this one's important for us here in Las Vegas because of the massive appreciation that we have seen and that we expect to continue to see, really, as well as our habit of moving every 3 or 4 years or so. It had been proposed that in order to avoid capital gains taxes, you would have needed to have lived in your primary residence for 5 of the last 7 years. That proposal wasn't passed, and the code stays the same. In order to avoid capital gains taxes, you need to have lived in your primary residence for 2 of the last 5 years. Lastly, most of the changes that are related to real estate don't actually take effect until 2018, so you'll have roughly the next year or so to go ahead and strategize. And now, for the disclosure, as you know, Genesis and I are not CPAs or tax professionals of any kind. We highly recommend conversation with professional counsel prior to making any tax-related decisions. And if you do need a referral, please do let us know.
Item 3. The second attachment you received will be a list of comparable sales in your neighborhood. This won't likely have much to do with you filing your taxes. It's just good information to have. You'll also find several links in the email. One's going to be for the Clark County property tax payment schedule. The other is going to be the description of the acceptable methods of payment. Well, that about wraps it up. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you guys have any questions, thoughts, concerns, or compliments, please reach out. We're pretty active on the social, or you can even call, click, or text us. We'll be around. Thanks so much, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Bye-bye.
It took us about 3 hours or so to assemble.
Acceptable payments of description. To do a filing during some tax. I need to learn how to move my mouth. I wonder if I had a stroke at night one time.
I'm dying.